I am about 1 month out from my leave, and so today I'm heading to work to get some things ready for my sabbatical. And so I thought I would bring you with me and share how I'm going from teacher to attempted through hiker. Here is my 3rd grade classroom. It's red, white, and blue themed. In 2018, I watched a movie called Wild with Reese Witherspoon. I kind of talked about this in my announcement video, but that was the first time that I had heard the term through hike. And so I began Googling and researching what a through hike was. And through that research, I came across the Appalachian Trail. And so I was very intrigued with the Appalachian Trail itself. And so I went to YouTube and started watching some people who had vlogged their experiences. Watching these YouTube videos of people vlogging were inspiring, and it made me feel like that I could also through hike the Appalachian Trail. So I began thinking of logistics, like how could I, as a teacher, take off work for 5 to 7 months and hike the trail. At the time, I was in my 4th year of teaching 3rd grade. I was feeling stressed, I was feeling burnt out, and the Appalachian Trail seemed like hope to me. It was my out. This is what I was going to do. I was going to take a break from teaching. I was going to hike the Appalachian Trail. I would come back refreshed and ready. From there, I contacted our MSTA rep and I asked him if sabbaticals were common for this kind of thing, or if anyone in Missouri had requested leaves like this. And he responded with a couple other school districts who had a leave policy, but my school district didn't at the time. And so I'm not going to say that I felt hopeless, but I just felt as if a leave or sabbatical wasn't realistic or probably wouldn't be approved. So in February of 2020, I submitted my letter of resignation to the school board, so I wasn't going to teach the following school year. I was going to do a SOBO, or a southbound hike of the Appalachian Trail, and then just come back and see maybe about substitute teaching or coming in as a para. I just needed to take some time off. And so as I said, my school board was very supportive in February. They were cheering me on. They wanted me to do what made me happy. And so a few weeks after I submitted that letter of resignation, COVID had made its way to the United States. And so our school district was going to take 2 weeks off to quarantine, and we would come back after that 2-week quarantine and everything would be fine. COVID would be gone. And that's not quite how it happened. So we were off for 2 weeks. We weren't in person. After the 2 weeks, COVID was still here. And so we actually didn't go back to in-person school the rest of the 1920 school year. During that time, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy advised hikers to get off the trail. And they even said that people who continued to through hike in 2020, that they wouldn't be recognized as 2,000 milers. And so this was alarming to me because I was set to leave in June and I didn't want to put others at risk. I wanted to follow the ATC's guidelines. And so I canceled my hike and I contacted the school board and asked to be rehired for the following school year. And again, they were very supportive. They hired me back on, and I am grateful for that. You may be thinking the Appalachian Trail would be the best place for someone to be out in the outdoors during COVID. But the Appalachian Trail Conservancy had a good point. They said that people who could potentially be testing positive with COVID were going into these small trail towns to resupply, and we're potentially putting the people in that community at risk. And these are small trail towns that are rural. They might not have access to healthcare, and at the time a vaccine wasn't available, and so the ATC advised people to get off the trail for 2020. One day I would like to have a family of my own, and so I think if I'm going to hike the trail, it's better to do it now, sooner rather than later. I'm at a unique place in my life where I'm not married, I don't have children, I don't have lots of responsibilities at home, and so now seems like the perfect time for me to take 5 to 7 months off and hike a trail for myself. Fast forward to this summer, the Appalachian Trail was still on my mind. It was still something that was consuming my thoughts. It was still something that I was watching on YouTube. I was seeing other people do it. I was doing research, and I had already bought all my gear for my 2020 through hike. So it was just sitting in my closet taunting me saying, come out, come hike. So this school year, so the 2022-23 school year, August 1st, I notified my principal that I wanted to request a leave for the trail. And she was supportive of it, but she said the next step would then be to talk to my superintendent. And so she ran the idea by my superintendent. He was supportive of it, and so following the chain of command, then I had to present my leave or my sabbatical to the school board. And so the process of that was me going to a school board meeting, and I presented to them how I was going to integrate my leave with my students, how I was going to connect this through hike to the curriculum. And so I made a presentation and I shared with them how I could connect it in different subject areas for my students and how I would stay in contact with them. And they were very supportive again the second round. They approved my leave for fourth quarter contingent on a certified teacher taking my place while I'm gone. And so again, I'm grateful for them approving it. The plan is to return in August and be here for the 23-24 school year. My principal knew that my leave had been approved, and so for the spring, I was paired with a student teacher. And so my student teacher has been with me in January and now in February, and she will be with my classroom until April, in addition to the certified teacher that's replacing me. She will be such a big help in helping my students transition to a new teacher. She will help them stay in their routine, keep the same classroom management, and help them keep in contact with me while I'm gone. So I'm very thankful to have her. I'm looking forward to meeting other women out on the trail who might be in similar stages of life as myself. If you're a teacher and an aspiring thru hiker, I hope this video inspired you to do some research about your school board's policy and hopefully talk with your principal about the potential for a leave. Remember that a goal without a plan is just a dream. So do one thing today to put your goal in action.